Hello, this is Taylor Ellwood, and welcome to the latest video series here on the Indie Author Business Success YouTube channel. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, go ahead and do me a favor and click the subscribe button below and then click the notification bell. That way you get notified whenever I either go live or upload a video. So today I'm going to start this series on Goodreads and how to use Goodreads effectively, because I think that for many authors, we don't realize that in fact you can use Goodreads. So let's talk first about what Goodreads is and why we should even care about using Goodreads. Goodreads is a website where people leave reviews about books and basically share what they're reading and where they are in reading. If you're an author, you want to make sure you're on this site and that you have an author profile. I'm going to go over here and click on the little picture of me, and if you go here, author dashboard, go and click on there. So you want to make sure that you've claimed your author profile, and otherwise you'll have just a reader profile. And so if you've written a book, you'll want to basically make sure you go ahead and claim that author profile and get that set up. And we'll talk a little more about that in a moment. Why is it important that we claim the author profile? Well, for one thing, it's good for purposes of search engine optimization. It's good for purposes of helping people on Goodreads find your books. And it's good for you because it adds further credibility to the work that you're doing. Now, a lot of readers will use this site. I mean, I've found that I've had a fair number of readers on here that use this site, and I think it's really helpful because as a result, you get to see reviews and ratings and things like that. And I'll admit, in all candidness, that for the most part, up until recently, I mainly used this site as just another review site. I would ask my advanced reviewer team to go ahead and post reviews about the books, about my books on Goodreads, and I didn't think anything further of it. And I'd occasionally come on here. But then I came to a recent realization that maybe I was underusing this particular site, and that as a result, if I was underusing it, there might be things that I could be doing that would help me make this site work better for me and reach out to the people that are on here. Now, I want to be upfront and clear that you do not necessarily have to put a lot of time into this site. I mean, this is a site that I would say I could visit, maybe once a day or maybe even just a couple times a week and just spend a few minutes on it. But you do want to have a consistent marketing approach to using this site, because if you aren't using it, you're missing out on how the site can help you. So on the one hand, how the site can help you is credibility. Your books are on here, you have people's reviews on it. All of those are good things to have that can help you with increasing the credibility of your presence on this site. And in fact, I like to point people toward reviews that are on this site, because it's another way of showing people, hey, Taylor's got credibility. People have reviewed his works. But we shouldn't limit ourselves to just that aspect of it. One of the things that we're going to discover is how to use your book pages better, how to use your author profile better, and how to overall use this site in order to help you not only get reviews, but launch books and do other activities that will help you make this site work for you. And I would say, honestly, a lot of authors in general probably underuse this site. I mean, part of it is, oh my gosh, another site that I have to spend time on. And I get it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do kind of a basic perusal of the site and give you a little bit of an idea of how this site works. And then in subsequent videos over the next few weeks, we're going to cover other details that may be helpful to you. So let's first go ahead, and if we click on the Goodreads button here, we're taken to basically the recent updates, and this shows us the recent updates that people that our friends or followers are reading, what they want to read, what they've reviewed, how they've rated a book, things like that. This is good for you to know because it kind of gives you an idea of what people are doing. Over here on the left, we have currently reading, and this shows us what we're quote unquote currently reading. But in the case of authors, as I'm going to share with you in another video, we're actually going to use it to share what we're writing. This is a sneaky way, if you will, to use Goodreads, but it's a legitimate way. I mean, it's a way to draw people to you that are reading your work, to find out where you are with your book. So it's a good thing to do. Now, if we click on home here, home is just going to again take us back to the recent updates. Now, it may seem a little redundant, but I mean, hey, I'd rather have some redundancy than not. If we click on my books, this is actually going to take you to all the books that are on here that basically you've read. And you're going to note here that a couple of those books are quote unquote my books. Now, one thing I am going to talk about that's really important is that you do not review your books. Like, as you can see here, I have not not review. I should say, do not rate your books. I'll talk about how to do a review, as it were, for your book in another video. But what I'm going to say for the moment is don't rate your books. That doesn't look good to people that are reading your books. It just looks bad, and it's not a good thing to do. So as you can see, I don't have these rated. On the other hand, I do have rated books that I have read, and I have written reviews for them. That is one of the things that I like to do as an author. I do that for a couple reasons. One, because I genuinely enjoy reading books and I like to share what I'm reading. But two, because I do like to help other authors out. I typically do not leave negative reviews on any site. And the reason why is because I am an author, and because the last thing I want is for someone to say, well, he's leaving a negative review because of competition or because of whatever. So I do recommend that if you're an author who likes to leave reviews, don't leave negative reviews on Amazon or other sites. If you don't like a book, just don't review it. That's my recommendation. But if you like a book, go ahead and do it. I think the lowest review I've ever left is a 3-star review, and it was a legitimate review, and I was asked to review the book, so I felt like, okay, in that case, I'll go ahead and review it. But in general, if I generally try to only leave 4 and 5-star reviews, and in all honesty, I like most of the books that I read anyway, so that helps. But I'm just mentioning that as a factor. So as you can see through here, there's a number of different books that I have reviewed. And as I said earlier, I do have some of my own books up here, but again, I have not rated them. So if we go here to browse, we have recommendations, choice awards, giveaways, new releases, list, explore. So these are other links, and you can actually go and visit these by genre. So if we go to new releases, for example, you can see the new releases that are out by people by people that have been writing stuff. So if you want to see what people are writing, you actually can go ahead and click on that, and then you'll see the actual books that people are putting out. So that's another thing that can be in terms of browsing, and you can do it by genre or by authors. So if I click on by genre, then I can see what's in fiction, what's in nonfiction, what's in young adult, history and biography, and things like that. So that's, again, another useful tool that you can use in this thing. You can see choice rewards, giveaways. We're going to talk about giveaways later. So you can actually see people who have put out a giveaway. And what kind of giveaway it is. So keep that in mind, because that can also be something that's useful to do. And then we go here to community, and community is where you can see stuff in regards to groups, discussions, quotes, ask the author, trivia, things like that. We're going to talk about this a little bit more in depth later. But again, these are some useful features for you to explore and use. And then, of course, we have the search books where you can type in a search for a book. So if you want to see, if you want to find books on a particular topic, like, well, we'll just do space-time magic because, hey, there we go. And in this case, we can see some of the stuff that is in regards to space-time magic, including, yes, a few books by me. All right. Admittedly, I'm going ahead and, but it's okay. It's my video. Here we have our notifications. We have group discussions. So if you go here to group discussions, you can actually see discussions that are in the groups that you're part of. So I have like questions here, and I haven't done this in a while. I may start doing it again, but this is kind of gives you an idea, and you can actually go and visit a group. And again, we're going to talk about this in more depth later, but you can go ahead and visit a group and see if you've put in a post for something like that. You can actually go ahead and see what they are doing. One thing I do is I do turn off the notifications, because it's otherwise it ends up getting to be a little crazy otherwise. But then you've got to go and make sure you check those things. So just keep that in mind. Here's messages, and there's a nifty trick we're gonna explore later on in regards to messages. But sometimes you do get messages from different people, and you can always write those people back. So keep that in mind. And then here is a list of basically your friends. So if you want to, you can actually see the people who are your friends on Goodreads, which is a nice, useful thing. If you want to see what they're on or what status they're at or things like that, or what they've recently updated, all these are good things to see. And then if you go here, of course, here's your thing, and you have your profile. If you have an author thing, then you'll go to author dashboard. You have 3 invitations for groups. So let's actually go ahead and click on that real quick and see what those invitations are. So underground knowledge, silent world, and you can again choose whether or not you want to join these or not. So just keep that in mind. One thing I will recommend for you if you're an indie author is, as always, assess what kind of activities you want to do, but also take the time to really explore a site. Like if you look down here, you can learn about us, careers, term, privacy, ad preferences, authors, advertise. So, I mean, there are different ways to work with Goodreads. And I will admit, on this site, I haven't necessarily gone and explored this in as much depth as I could. So one of the reasons I'm creating this video series in all transparency is to learn more about this site, because I took a free class on it and I learned things that I hadn't even thought about, strategies and things like that I could do. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing these things. And then I thought to myself, well, I should share this with what I've learned with other people. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video series, because how better to learn something than to actually talk about it and share what you're doing or not doing. So keep that in mind, and feel free to do some exploring. Next week, we're going to start talking about how to use Goodreads for your marketing purposes. We're going to talk more about about how to use Goodreads in relationship to your books, and how you can even use it to help you launch a book. All right, so I will see you next week, and thanks for watching. And again, if you're new to this channel, click the subscribe button and also the notification bell, so that way you get more of these videos in the future.